Welcome to Midnight Story. When the night falls silent and shadows grow longer, this is where horror and mystery begin. Real stories, urban legends, secrets never told. Be prepared, because something unseen might be watching you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, so you never miss the next terrifying tale. Because here, every midnight has a story. It was a cold, misty evening when Ethan received the letter. Sealed with crimson wax and bearing no return address, it had an air of mystery that immediately piqued his curiosity. The contents were even stranger. An invitation to spend a weekend at an old villa in the countryside, with the promise of a handsome reward for simply documenting his experiences. Ethan was a freelance journalist, used to chasing strange stories. But this one felt different. The letter bore only one name, Villa Amara. He'd heard of it before, whispered among locals as a place best left forgotten. The villa loomed against the twilight sky, its silhouette jagged and eerie. Ivy crawled over its stone walls, and the air smelled of damp earth and decay. Ethan clutched his bag tightly as he stepped through the iron gates, which groaned in protest as they swung open. The door was unlocked, as the letter had promised. Inside, the air was heavy, and dust motes danced in the fading sunlight streaming through cracked windows. Ethan's footsteps echoed as he walked, each creak of the floorboards amplifying the silence. To his surprise, Ethan wasn't alone. 4 others had also received the mysterious invitation: Mia, an architect; Lucas, a historian; Clara, a photographer; and Richard, a retired detective. Each had their reasons for accepting, but none could explain why they'd been chosen. The group gathered in the grand hall, a cavernous room dominated by a fireplace that seemed reluctant to burn. Introductions were brief, and unease hung in the air like a storm cloud. Night fell quickly, wrapping the villa in an oppressive darkness. Ethan's room was sparsely furnished, its only adornment a cracked mirror and a painting of a woman whose eyes seemed to follow him. As he lay in bed, he heard it. A faint whisper, unintelligible but undeniably close. He bolted upright, his heart racing. The whispers grew louder, weaving through the walls like a sinister melody. Gathering his courage, he stepped into the corridor, where shadows stretched unnaturally long. Morning brought little comfort. Over breakfast, the group exchanged stories of the night. Clara had captured strange figures in her photos, and Lucas spoke of finding an old journal in the library. The journal, written by a former resident, hinted at dark rituals and a tragedy that had cursed the villa. The group decided to investigate together, their apprehension outweighed by curiosity. The villa seemed alive, its corridors shifting and twisting as if guiding them toward something, or away from it. A door in the west wing refused to open. Its intricate lock bore symbols none of them could decipher. Mia sketched the symbols, and Lucas promised to research their meaning. Meanwhile, the whispers returned, more insistent than before. Richard, ever the pragmatist, suggested leaving, but as they discovered, the villa had other plans. The gates were sealed, and the surrounding forest seemed to stretch endlessly, disorienting anyone who ventured too far. The painting in Ethan's room changed overnight. The woman's serene expression twisted into a grimace, and her eyes seemed to plead for help. It wasn't just Ethan who noticed. The others reported similar phenomena in their rooms. Lucas's journal translations hinted at a watcher, a presence bound to the villa, feeding off fear and despair. The group realized they were being observed, their every move scrutinized. Clara was the first to vanish. One moment she was with them, examining a hidden alcove in the basement. The next, she was gone. Her camera lay abandoned, its final photo a blurry image of a shadowy figure. Panic set in as the group searched, their calls echoing unanswered. The villa seemed to taunt them, its walls whispering secrets they couldn't understand. The basement held more than dust and cobwebs. Ethan discovered a hidden chamber filled with artifacts: ceremonial daggers, ancient texts, and a stone altar stained dark with age. The air was suffocating, heavy with the scent of iron and decay. Lucas identified the artifacts as remnants of an old cult that worshipped the Watcher. offering sacrifices to appease it. The group's unease deepened as they realized they might be the next offerings. The whispers coalesced into a voice that spoke directly to Ethan. It knew his secrets, his fears, his dreams. It promised him freedom if he'd betray the others. Ethan resisted, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Mia uncovered a ritual circle etched into the floor of the dining hall. The symbols matched those on the locked door, and the group deduced that completing the circle might unlock it. But the missing pieces were nowhere to be found. Richard theorized that the villa was a trap, designed to lure unsuspecting victims to their doom. He'd seen similar cases in his career, though none as supernatural as this. His skepticism wavered as the villa continued to defy explanation. Ethan experienced a vision while exploring the library. He saw the villa as it once was, vibrant and alive, filled with laughter and light. But the joy turned to horror as shadows consumed the residents, their screams echoing into eternity. Lucas discovered a way to weaken the Watcher, by destroying its tether to the physical world. The altar in the basement was key, but doing so required a sacrifice. Lucas volunteered, believing it was the only way to save the others. Destroying the altar unleashed the Watcher's fury. The villa trembled, its walls bleeding and its corridors collapsing. The group fled, but the Watcher's presence pursued them, a formless terror that consumed everything in its path. Clara reappeared, disoriented and changed. She spoke in riddles, her eyes vacant. The group realized she was no longer entirely herself, a puppet of the Watcher. With Lucas's sacrifice, the locked door finally opened, revealing a hidden sanctuary. Inside was a relic, a mirror said to imprison the Watcher. But using it came with a price. The group devised a plan to trap the Watcher within the mirror. Ethan would serve as bait, drawing its attention while the others completed the ritual. Time was running out, and the villa was crumbling around them. As the ritual neared completion, Richard betrayed the group, driven by a promise of freedom. His actions nearly doomed them all, but Mia's quick thinking saved the ritual from failing entirely. The Watcher was sealed, its anguished roar echoing as the mirror absorbed its essence. The villa began to collapse entirely, forcing the survivors to flee. Ethan, Mia, and Clara emerged into the dawn, battered but alive. But as they looked back at the ruins of Villa Amara, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that their ordeal wasn't truly over. The whispers had stopped, but something lingered, a faint echo in the wind. Weeks after the villa's destruction, Ethan struggled to return to normal life. He found himself drawn to the mirror, which Mia had secured in a safe location. They agreed to keep it hidden, fearing its power. Clara, though distant, occasionally reached out, her fragmented memories of the ordeal haunting her. Ethan began researching similar phenomena, uncovering tales of other cursed locations. It seemed Villa Amara was just one of many places touched by the Watcher's influence. The mirror began to act strangely. Its surface shimmered and faint voices emanated from within. Mia contacted Ethan, alarmed by the changes. Together, they decided to seek help from an expert in ancient artifacts. Dr. Eleanor Price, an expert in occult studies, agreed to examine the mirror. She revealed that the Watcher wasn't entirely trapped. Fragments of its essence remained, seeking a way to escape. Ethan, Mia, and Dr. Price embarked on a journey to destroy the mirror once and for all. Their search led them to a remote mountain temple, where an ancient ritual could banish the Watcher permanently. However, the Watcher's influence persisted, manifesting as nightmares and hallucinations that tested their resolve. Clara, sensing their plight, rejoined the group, determined to help despite her lingering fears. At the temple, the group prepared the ritual. As they began, the Watcher's essence erupted from the mirror, taking on a monstrous form. A fierce battle ensued, with the Watcher exploiting their fears and doubts. Ethan, summoning his courage, faced the entity head-on. With the help of his friends, he completed the ritual, sealing the Watcher's fate. The mirror shattered, and the temple's energy dissipated, leaving behind an eerie calm. The ordeal finally over, the group parted ways, each carrying scars both visible and unseen. Ethan returned to writing, chronicling their experience as a cautionary tale. Mia and Clara sought solace in each other's company, finding strength in shared survival. Though the Watcher was gone, Ethan often wondered if other entities like it lingered in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. But for now, he embraced the quiet, cherishing the fragile peace they had fought so hard to achieve.